Hello, everyone, and welcome to your next video. And what I wanted to do today is I wanted to introduce to you our wonderful Presidential Master Coordinator, Charlene Fike. She is in our up line, depending on where you are in the line. And she's going to share her story of how she came into Shackley and what Shackley has meant for her in her life. Charlene?
Well, it's good to be with you all. And thank you, Annika, for letting me be part of this so that you guys can kind of get a feel for all stories, because everybody's story is unique in Shackley. So I'll just share with you mine. When I was a college senior, I was introduced to the products by my boyfriend, who is now my husband, whose family had been involved in Shackley. So he was very familiar with vitamins and supplementation, and I had probably didn't have the best diet, put it that way. And so he suggested that I try the products for 30 days. And if I didn't feel better, I'd get my money back. And he was always swallowing these pills and it bothered me. And I thought, this doesn't work. And so his mom came from a nurse background and she believed in supplementation. My mother came from a nurse background and she just thought it was expensive stuff that came out of your body. It didn't do any good. So that's kind of the two mindsets were polar opposites. So what I said was, I'm going to try it for 30 days, knowing full well that this isn't going to work. And then we're never going to talk about it again. And if we have children, your mom, who's pretty she was pretty aggressive about nutrition and didn't, she told everybody about it. We're never going to talk about this again. So that's how it started. So I tried it for 30 days. And the interesting thing was that about 2 weeks in, all my roommates started noticing that I wasn't as grinchy in the afternoon. That was the first thing I noticed. It was like, I didn't have that like sugar crash. And so that's kind of what started me on my journey, because people would start saying, I'd say, well, guys, you got to try it. And all it was protein and Vital E and or multivitamin. And they'd say, get me some stuff. And so I started getting them some stuff. And I got my little check for $12.50 by sharing the stuff with people that was working for me. And I thought it might work for them. And so I thought I made a mistake and I overpaid it. And so that was my wake up call to what the power of network marketing can be about. Because I'm one of those people that, you find a good bookstore that's better than some, I'm telling you where to go. Find a good shoe sale or a movie. I was always recommending restaurants and things like that to my friends. But I'd never gotten anybody to pay me for suggesting that they try something. So that's kind of what started piquing my interest, because the backdrop to this was that I was a social work major. And in my last year in my practicum, realizing that I had made a supreme mistake and that this was not going to be a career I wanted for the rest of my life. And so I was already at that spot of dissatisfaction, but I was young and nobody ever thought, oh, here's somebody who'd be good at the business. I just loved the product and was sharing with people. So that kind of was in the back of my brain. So I decided to become a distributor. And I read the sales plan, lo and behold, and I read the kit. Nobody ever explained the compensation plan to me, but it made sense that if I was willing to take a risk, share with a few friends, that for the rest of my life, as long as they kept buying, I would be rewarded for being the one who introduced them to better health, better opportunities. And then if I could have other people who wanted to join me in the same mission, then we could build an organization. And that's what caught my attention. And so what we wanted to do was be able to have the freedom to do that. So I started in January of my senior year. Remember, I was very dissatisfied and highly motivated that by the time I graduated, I didn't have to go get a job. Because when I told my mom and dad that I was going to do Shackley, they were like appalled. They thought, what are you doing, giving up a college education to sell pills and soap? And so I was very motivated. So I worked really hard at developing a customer base and also at getting other people that might be interested in doing the same thing we did. And by the time we graduated, I was making enough money that I never had to go get a normal job. And that's, like 36 years ago now, almost 37 years that has happened. And so that's kind of how it started. And then what I realized was that this is a people business. And if you help people discover what their passions are, and all you do is offer them support, encouragement, and that accountability as they get started in a new career, you can have an amazing future. And that's kind of how it started. And so this has really been our full-time income, but not our full-time passion. What it's done is allowed us to live a career income from the very get-go. I think our first year we made like when our first 1099, we had made just a hair under 40. I think it was just a hair over $42,000 was what our yearly income when we got our first 1099, which was pretty phenomenal. Even as a social worker today at an entry level, that'd be about what you're making 30 odd years later. So it was a pretty phenomenal career choice for us. But what it did is it allowed us to do all kinds of things that are passions of ours because we could earn that full-time income without having to put in 50, 60, 80-hour work week to maintain it. So that's the nutshell.
That's super, Charlene. And it's funny because you shifted your story just a little bit. This is a slightly different version than I know. And I never knew that you got grinchy in the afternoons. So that's
Oh, yeah.
so that's great. So thank you so much. And for those of you who are watching, know that you will meet Charlene, and you will meet her not only once, but many, many, many times. But Charlene is just such a wonderful light in this organization, and I love her to pieces. And I wanted you to be able to meet her now, sooner rather than later. So enjoy, and thank you so much, Charlene, for being with us. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. It's worth doing this. But you'll discover more about yourself than any other way and be able to impact the lives of so many people.
Wonderful. Thank you, Charlene.
You're welcome.